Boom, boom! How's it going? How's it going? In this video here, we are going to be talking of how to become successful in real estate, but not just being successful in any real estate. I am talking about being successful in the property space of property rental. How to earn some passive income. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, my name is TJ, Taurai Jack, and I am an active property investor, and my business is predominantly around property rental. Property rental, which means that I earn passive income in that business. Yeah, that business, it is called poof M5 Property Addicts. And if I'm not doing that, well, I am here talking to you, and I enjoy talking about anything and everything around real estate. And this is where you actually find us, and we talk about it. The second thing is that I also teach people to be successful in their own right. And we do this in a company that is called M5 Property Varsity. And within the varsity, people can come through and learn from ground zero so that they can get through to where they want to be, their own success. Well, if I'm also not doing that, I write books and I'm an author, and poof, that's my book there, latest book that is called From Bed Debt to Property Mogul. And I wrote this book with the guy that's starting off, and literally it talks of my personal journey of how I've done it from when I started off in bed debt, around about 5 million, to where I am right now building a business. And I'm of the view that if I can do it, a guy like me, yes, a guy like me can do it, I am sure you can be successful as well. Well, like any other day, we are always here talking about property. And if property is your thing and you enjoy this type of content, boom, you want to smash that subscribe button right now so that other people who are also like me and you can get to see this valuable content. Right. Firstly, let's define what is successful, because all of a sudden we don't want to be hearing some hate emails. Oh, TJ, you're successful. Oh, ha, ha, ha. You know, what is successful? For me, I think I measure success in a number of ways. And where I am right now in my life, successful doesn't necessarily mean it's about money. Yes, money plays a role in it, but it's not about it. I've got a 12-year-old, and I've got a 5-year-old, and I've got a stunning, beautiful wife, and I've got a mother who is later in her years. Now, success for me at that level is to spend as much quality time I can with my clan. Those are my people, and I'm of the view that, for as much as I can spend more time with them, quality time to be precise. My mother, she's got different needs. Obviously, my wife, she's got different needs. My 5-year-old, she's got different needs. But how best can I spend more time? My boy is just going to be in his teenage years, so obviously more time is dedicated there. But it's not just time, right? It's quality time. And I can never be able to spend quality time. I'm of the view that it is BS where people are talking about, hey, it is only quality time that you need to be spending. I'm of the view it's two, quality and quantity, right? Quality and quantity, it is also required. So for me, success has been, number one, I was able to leave my employer to actually be able to spend more time. In that time, I've kind of like bought it. But how did I buy it? All I did was that I replaced my income from my rental properties, and that allowed me actually to have a little bit more time. But it doesn't mean that I don't work. I am still working in that business there, but I have so much flexibility to work within that business. But I'm not pressed to work on it because my passive income is already coming. The money that was 101, I reached my 101 financial freedom. That's what I want to say. The second thing around how I'm measuring my success is that I have flexibility in terms of what should I do with my time. Should I spend it in learning? Should I spend it with my family? Should I spend it in looking for more opportunities? Should I? So I have that freedom in my space. The third thing is that I'm not really worried for my basic needs in life. Hey, I can't afford to go to the UK right now. I can't afford to go to Israel, but that's my level 2 of what I want to do, to be going in like for like 2 months holiday to the UK without even stressing. But that's my level of success. I wonder what is your level of success means. And in the comments there, I want you to hit me and say, TJ, this is my level 1 of success. And how far are you? I think that's a question you don't need to answer, but a question that we need to be asking ourselves. So in this video here, I am not talking about myself in terms of how I have gotten through to my success, but the point is that I want to share with you 7 things that you can do to achieve the same. Point number 1, in terms of the 7 things that you can do to achieve the success that you're looking for. And I think this point here is actually one of those points where back in the days when I was employed and I had a good job, I actually kind of like omitted it, or should I say, I didn't give it enough attention compared to what I am doing now. So what am I talking about? This is an important part. And I think for many of us, this is where we lack. And this point here, it is actually, I'm just going to label it, be obsessed with learning. Be obsessed with learning. With all the successful people that I've seen, those that I rub shoulders with, those that are way above me doing great things, and those that I learn from, whether it is virtually or whatnot, I have realized that they are obsessed. They don't enjoy learning. They are obsessed with learning. Within the last 4 years, I've been obsessed with learning as well. How do I learn? Because I think this is the biggest problem for us. Do I go and get a doctorate? No. Do I go and get another degree? Not really, right? So I am in the real estate space. I enjoy property, and this is my space. And there are 2 things in this space that are very critical. In my view, it is about knowing how to structure things, right? Knowing how to make sure that when you are putting all of these deals together, they are sound, they are okay. So for me, one of my learnings have been, or things that I've been learning or obsessed with, is from a law perspective and from a tax perspective, how do you structure these kind of things? So I've been digging and digging and digging around different structures that you can see overseas, structures you're doing here in South Africa. Who is doing what? Why are they doing it that way? And with that, I take those structures and I implement them in my personal space. The second one is that when you are doing real estate, or you're doing property, one of the key things that you need is money. So I've been obsessed about learning about money. How does money work? How can you secure money? How can you get to have more money? How can you get to have the banks give you money? And all of these things, they come with processes that you need to learn how to do. So if you're not obsessed about learning, surely you are not going to achieve the success that you are looking for. And my success is by no means a measuring stick, but I am of the view that I have reached where I am right now with the level of obsession that I'm putting in my learning. At the moment, at least I can tell you that I read about a book in 2 weeks' time. I finish up a book in two to 3 weeks' time. And it's not just any book. It is a book about money. It is a book about law. It is a book about structuring. It is a book about personal development in making me grow. What are the things that I need to be leaving behind so that I can become a greater person? The benchmark is me from yesterday, and the benchmark is how can I be better from the person that I was yesterday? And if you're not obsessed about learning, well, you might as well stop this video now. Well, let's go on to talk about point number 2. And point number 2 actually speaks about, and I am going to label it to be from an obsessed perspective, because I think that when I look back at myself, when I started doing what I'm doing in real estate, the moment I became obsessed with taking action, that's when I started seeing more results. And so obviously the point that I'm talking to, it is called be obsessed of taking action. I want to speak to the people that go on to circumcise the mosquito and talk to people that suffer from analysis paralysis, and they need to analyze something until they can get through to analyze again the second answer. And again, when they get to their second answer, they want to analyze that the third answer is correct, but the second one is also being analyzed to a point where they now have the fifth question that has also been analyzed with the first one, and the second one is now wrong because they've analyzed. Now you can see that all of what I'm talking about is you are not taking action and you're spending more and more time circumcising the mosquito. How are you going to do that? You will see that if you do that, you'll never be able to take action, right? So when do you start getting comfortable? That's the question. And in my view, I'm of the view that if you're well educated, so number one, if you are obsessed about learning, if you are educated, and educated, like we always talking about real estate and property on here. So if you are educated around real estate, around property, you will know how to remove the risk. Oh, you could be asking the question, TJ, you are saying that because you've been at it for a while now. No, that's not it. The thing that I want to put in place is that sometimes you need to take risk. Take the risk. Take the freaking risk. I'm going to say that again. Take the risk. Analyzing something until someone else comes in and take it doesn't make you grow. Does not put money in your pocket. Once you get the education, obviously you are comfortable to the fact that property is your thing, just like me. And now you are wanting to jump into it. Number one, what you need to do, get educated. Do you know how to calculate a deal? Yes, calculate it. If you have calculated it, get someone else to bounce off your thinking. Is it correct? If it is correct, take the action, right? If it is not correct, or if it is correct, it doesn't mean that if someone else is going to give you a different opinion, your first version is wrong. If you're sticking to your version, then that's great. Take the risk and mitigate it. What do I mean by that? So if it is an offer that you're going to put in, then have you actually gone in to check in with everything that you think could go wrong? So yes, you might want to be going into being over paralysis on this one, and you're over analyzing it. Now, just write down the top 5 things that you're over analyzing on and get the answers to those things. When you get the answers to those things, or just have like an out of body experience, right? Where you leave yourself in there and then you take out your body and then you say, hey, I'm over analyzing this thing. If I was seeing this risk, how would I mitigate it? And if you see how you're going to mitigate it, come back in your body and take the action. That's all I'm saying, right? Sometimes we'll never be able to take the action if we're not comfortable with taking a risk. And there's nothing in the world nothing of great that has ever been built in the world without taking a risk. So take the risk, calculated risk, as I always say it. Now, I want to go back to the point where I spoke about, check with someone else. My advisors, and this is what I also do in my personal space, in my personal business, I am always asking someone else who has done it before. I'm always asking someone else who has done it before. So when I'm taking action, I'm obsessed of taking action, right? I'm always closing deals. I'm wanting to close deals. But if I'm not so sure about that deal, I want to go into someone else who has done a deal like that one before, and I'm going to ask them the question, how do you see this deal? If they say it's a good deal, and with what I've put in there with my thinking, boom, I'm going to do it. Right. So your risk has been calculated. You have mitigated it. You've gone into a mentor. and you're going to execute that for you. So that's the second thing. The first one is that we said be obsessed in learning. Okay, be obsessed in learning. How can you learn? Books like these ones, like mine. I've got a whole set of books in here that I'm reading. On my phone, when I'm driving, I've got audio books. I'm always putting stuff in my head. I watch a lot of YouTubes. I attend a lot of webinars about things that I'm wanting to learn. That's how you learn. I attend seminars. I learn from other people. I am obsessed of learning to a point where where they are teaching about property, about anything else, I am there. So that's the first point. The second point is be obsessed with taking action. Take that action. If you're not going to be taking that action, guess what's going to happen? The next person is going to take the action. The third part I'd like to speak to is be disciplined. Oh, whoa. Be disciplined. What do I mean by that? Well, number one, we've got that boxy thingy at our household. These days it's flat. It's called the TV. These days we've got our smartphones. These days our time can just run away with simple little things, right? And we don't even know where the day is going to. And it's because we are consuming ourselves into certain things. We do not even have a timetable. We don't have a schedule of what we are supposed to be doing at what time. So for that reason, we actually don't have discipline behind our own time. The world takes on the discipline to discipline us because it takes on whatever that we have. Now, on the other part is, within our finances, we're not even disciplined in terms of what are we spending and what are we saving. What are we spending for what reason and what are we saving for what reason? So the discipline is not even there. I'm going to give you a short story from the time when I started doing property very seriously. And I remember back in the days I would work, so I would go to work. So obviously, you know what I would do? My Monday to Friday was dedicated obviously to my employer. But I decided I was going to give my employer 9 hours and nothing less. I got disciplined to say I'm going to give my employer 9 hours because I knew that my employer was not going to be my end goal. So I made a decision. I then also made a decision to say that I want to have 2 hours of learning, and I put that on my schedule. So I had a schedule. I also made up another schedule to say that on Saturday, every day from 9 o'clock all the way to 3 o'clock, I was going to be looking for opportunities. And that was my schedule, right? Within that schedule, I had to stick with my schedule. I had to be disciplined for me to stick to that schedule. Again, what happened is I continued sticking to that schedule. Results started kicking in. Up until today, there are certain times you can never get hold of me because that time is allocated for a particular thing, right? Even my business partners know you have to be disciplined for you not to be distracted for other things. And that's the third thing that I want to be talking about. The fourth thing I want to jump into is be open-minded. Be open-minded. I can go on to talk about this one because when we are learning new concepts and when we are being presented with new concepts, the thing about life is that where we are right now, we have been conditioned and we already have what we call preconceived ideas. Whether you want to believe it or not, the fact of the matter is that you do. It's because that's how we have been raised. And over and above that, it is how our society has expanded to be. So for you actually to be able to see these new ideas or new concepts as something that can be done, you need to be open-minded. So in other words, how do you become open-minded? You need to teach yourself to be open-minded so that when the deal is being presented to you, what you're not just going to see is risk. It's going to fail, it's going to fail, it's going to fail, because you have some preconceived of ideas because you have failed in the past before. So being open-minded is about taking the risk, and it's calculated, and also seeing it from other side, like, oh, it can be done like this. But out of it, when you're being open-minded, you need to go in as well and start learning about it. So if your mind is open, you can go and learn about it. You can never go and learn about it when your mind is not open-minded. Right. I will give you an example. When I started reading the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, my mind was shut, so I never read to understand it. The second time I read it, my mind was extremely open because of my circumstance. I was glued onto that book for the next 7 hours. I finished it and I was like, I need to do real estate. Because I understood it, my mind was open. So I always say, when the cup is full, there is no water that can be filled in there. So be open-minded. All right. The fifth thing that I would like to speak about is learn from others. Learn from others, right? So I am glad that you are here, and I am glad that you are learning from me, because as I also teach, I also learn. So a high five to you. But before we actually conclude the whole concept of learning from others, I am learning from others and I'm able to teach others. So I can't teach what I haven't learned. So like you, my expectation is that as your game becomes bigger as well, I would like you to also start teaching others. And that's how we can actually end poverty in our nations, right? And this is the reason why I do this. This is the reason why I give out free content, so that you can learn. And so that when I am teaching you like this, I also tend to learn along the way. But, and this is a big but, and I don't know whether you like them big buts, but this is a big but, right? And the big but that I want to position here is, be careful on who you're going to be learning from. I have noticed in our society that there's lots of people who do one deal, and they did this one deal in many years ago, and they hung on to this deal, and they start now teaching other people. Their business actually is not the investing business. Their business is to teach the courses, right? I want you to be careful about those people, because what happens now is, not only are they teaching you from things that were being done in long ago, right? Those things might not be relevant. That's the first thing. The second thing is that people, when they are teaching you, they can only teach you what they have. If they don't have substance, they can't give you substance, right? So be careful on whose counsel, under the shadow that you're going to be sitting on. If they are saying that they have done 55 deals, well, where are the deals, right? If they are saying that they have done A, B, C, D, well, where is it, right? Ask the questions. It's like going to a doctor. The doctor has a certificate to say that they can practice to be a doctor. You know, we don't just go to the doctor and say, can you fix me up, without having seen the evidence that they can fix us. You don't just go to any bank and leave your money there without seeing that they are a legitimate bank, right? So all of these things, it's things that you need to be careful, right? That's number 5 from me. Learn from others, and make sure that as you're learning, especially if you're going to be paying money, especially if you're going to be paying some money, just double check who they are and what do they stand for, what have they done, and are they still doing it, and all of those things. The 6th thing I want to speak to is that you need to stay humble. You need to stay humble as you grow, but you gotta stay hungry. And I mean that. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. A lot of us, we get the 101 success, and we start getting now to be a little bit hungry. I mean, the moment we hit a little bit of success, hey, watch me now. This is what I can do. This is the building that I bought. The humbleness disappears. Arrogance kicks in. And I'm always praying to myself and telling myself, TJ, stay humble, but always be hungry. Now, why am I wanting to be humble? I mean, I look at all my great teachers. None of them actually are arrogant in any way. So where would I be getting that from? None of them actually are on the other side. They are all humble individuals. They're very well-grounded people, but they are all hungry for more deals. They are all hungry to push the boundaries. So that's my 6th point there. I mean, I can go on that topic. It's about the character that you want to build. You know, so stay humble, but be hungry as well at the same time. The last one I'm going to talk about, be hungry for success. Be hungry for success. You owe it to yourself to be successful. And success can only be measured with you. You know what is your success. Like you now know what is my success. Just spending some quality time, putting quality food on my table, and living and having a comfortable bed where I can go in and the room's got an arrogance, a je ne sais, you know what I mean? And I can give a good quality to my mother as she goes into an elderly years. And I can also be the young father to my kids that is there, present, the father that I never had. That's the level of my success that I want to have. To be able, when lockdown is finished, just go for a soccer match. By the way, I hate soccer. I don't like it. Like, I find it difficult for men just chasing that ball for 90 minutes. But guess what? My son enjoys soccer, and for that reason, I am getting into the rhythm. Okay? I'm only getting into the rhythm for his sake, for me to connect with him, with the things that he loves. Of late, we've been buying a whole lot of Barbie dolls in my house, right? I think Hope's room is now almost full of Barbie dolls, right? But that's a thing. We can still afford to do it. And I can go on with stuff where my kids have just flourished in their own space. We are not a family that's very big on gifts, but where it is due, we do. Both my kids have awesome pets that they love. I don't really like pets. You know, you all know. My wife's got a cat. My boy's got a hamster. There's a bed that's also coming in. But it's things that I can support and give to my kids. And money is not an issue with providing the basic for my family. And this is what it's all about. That is my one-on-one success. And I'm always saying that be hungry for success. My next level of success now is I am looking at how can I be buying my Vrupa? You all know that Vrupa, ne? Right? The 12 valve, so that you can hear me when I'm coming from a distance. That's kind of like second level. How can I go and stay for a month in Japan? See their culture. I get fascinated with people's cultures, you know, and things like that. That's level 2 of where I want to be. But at this moment, my success, I've reached it. I'm okay with it. And these are the 7 things that have helped me to get there. And I am sure that these 7 things again can carry me to the next stage, but my level of obsession needs to just be on another level. Hey, it is I, TJ, and your investor partner, your teacher. I'm always looking out for deals, and I don't want to talk about the results that I've seen, but I might as well throw it out there. The fact that, you know, I am still looking out for more successes, for more deals, for more partners to work with, for more money and all of those things. But it is not everything about money. It's about enhancing the livelihood that we've got. So until we meet again next time, God bless and keep growing. Boom.